And you want to read the mission and vision?
Our mission statement: educating each student to the highest standards while motivating them to reach their fullest potential and graduating them to be college, career, and life ready. Our vision statement: our schools are a place where children belong. Each student is known by name, strength, and need, and provided the education and the opportunities to achieve success. And our values: striving for equity, inclusion, and belonging, celebrating diversity, engaging the community, supporting the whole child, promoting and achieving academic excellence.
All right, thank you. Next we have review and revision of the agenda. Anyone got anything to change? Okay, next we have public comments. Cindy, do we have any? Okay, since we have none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Any comments or discussion on that?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Great. Motion by Director Nelson, second by Director Buck. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Any abstain? Ayes have it, motion passes. Next we have the board action calendar review. Anyone have anything on the calendar? Or
are you going to mention that the retreat will be changed time?
Yeah, I believe since we're going to have some change in board seats, that we are going to move the retreat to August.
anything else? Okay. Move on to student staff recognition. Sandy?
Thank you very much. Hello. I'm Sandra Harris, the Human Resource Director, for those out in the audience. I am going to let you know of our current retirees for the 24-25 school year that is retiring from the district. We'll have them up the slide up there. We've got some fabulous teachers and ESPs who are going to be off into retirement land and enjoying their time after spending lots of time with us and our kiddos in our schools. First of all, I will tell you who they are then. First of all, we have Kimberly Myers. She is a reading specialist at Dry Hollow Elementary School, and she has spent the last 11 years of her career with us. Sonia Little is our tag coordinator. She has spent 25 years of her career with North Wasco, and she is leaving. Susan Harris, a 5th grade teacher at Chenoweth Elementary School, has spent 26 years in North Wasco County Schools. Congratulations to all of those. Sandra Smith in Nutrition Services. She actually retired a few months ago, so she is one of our special retirees. Carol Moore, our educational assistant at the Dalles High School, has spent 20 years in North Wasco and the last several years at the high school as well. Karen Walsavage in Nutrition Services has spent 4 years with us and is retiring as well. Robin Coleman, educational assistant in the Title I at Dry Hollow, has spent 15 years in North Wasco serving our students and staff. Tina Molden is our Secretary 3, our registrar at the Dalles High School. Everything registration goes through Tina, and she's spent the last 9 years in that position in North Wasco. Charlene Bonham, our Secretary 3, counseling secretary at the Dalles High School. There's some big shoes to fill. She's spent 9 years with us in North Wasco. And Cindy Miller, our executive assistant to the superintendent, has spent couple decades with us serving in that capacity and just serving our board and our superintendents and everybody in North Wasco. So big shoes to fill this year, and we are very pleased to send them off and just to enjoy their retirement because it's well deserved.
Thank you. Next, we have the student representatives to the board, Kylie Rose and Nancy Diaz. Okay, we'll move on to building student representatives. Colonel Wright, Madeline Swanson, and Silas Bach.
Hello, our names are Sal Swat, Madeline Swanson, Nate Pierce, and we are the Colonel Wright 5th grade representatives. We are very excited to be here. We will talk about what has been going on at our school through the last semester.
On May 15th, we had our ELD family night. Over 2,000 people were there in attendance. Miss Liz and Michelle sang. Students of ELD groups performed for parents. And Dr. Bernal was there. Even our own PTO gave out fun toys. Thank you all who made this family night and our huge last success.
Recently, our school made a cherry festival float to go through the parade. Everybody had lots of fun. It looked amazing going down the street. Our float got first place out of 90 floats. We had many people from our school join us in the parade.
The high school jazz band came on May 8th to play for the whole school, kinder through 5th. It was a lot of fun listening to all the different instruments like the saxophone, the trumpet, and the drums.
This year's fifth graders did lots of science projects and physics challenges. These include a balloon car challenge, which takes a balloon and a car structure, a catapult in which students make working catapults. Those are just two of the projects that the 5th graders enjoyed and loved.
The 4th graders got to have an amazing opportunity to have high schoolers come down and do STEM projects with them. They tried to build the tallest tower with marshmallows and toothpicks. They also got to make catapults to launch dried marshmallows out of rubber bands, popsicle sticks, and little paper cups. They got to make seed bombs out of clay and dirt. They also got to plant their own spider plants. And finally, they got to look under microscopes and see ants, blood, part of an earthworm, part of a mushroom, and cells of a stomach, penicillin, which by the way is medicine, and a grasshopper antenna. That's only a couple out of hundreds they had for them to look at, and they had lots of fun.
There was a pipe burst in our gym, so lunch was moved outside in our breezeway and our courtyard. Our custodians have worked very hard on the stench. It has gone down now, so we can eat in our regular lunchroom.
On May 15th, on May 30th, fifth graders will go to the middle school from 8:30 to 10. They will learn how to get around, open locks, meet teachers, and experience what middle school will be like.
Recently, our school had a jogathon to raise money for the PTO, which supports students and activities. The winners in the kindergarten through second grade top class was Miss Shook's first grade class, top girl Cora Reynolds, and Mr. Ramsey's second grade class, and top boy was Elliot Beach in Miss Chance's class, first grade class, and third grade through fifth grade, the winners. Top class was Mr. Chance's fourth grade class. Top girl was Eloise Vieira in Miss Geary's fifth grade class. Top boy Wyatt Brainham in Mr. Chance's fourth grade class.
We are having a play based on The Phantom Told Us. If you have never read it, I do recommend it. It is in the first week of June in our auditorium. We will send a text on Parent Square about when it is. You are welcome to come. Only fifth graders in the play.
Thank you after school partners like the Good News Club, which had a water gun fight this Monday since it was the last day. And other activities are Migrant Program and ASA.
The fifth graders have new clubs for the rest of the year. One is Myler's Club. It is a club where you get to run miles around our track. Another one is Trivia. It is a fun club. But some of the fifth graders don't get to have clubs because they get to have an awesome opportunity to practice for our fifth grade play.
Our marimba teams went out to play on the 14th and 15th. We went to the Springs, Columbia Basin Care, and the Senior Center, and finished by playing for the Rotary Club at Spookies. It was nice to see Dr. Bernal and Director Vaught on our trips.
On June 6th, the high school seniors will visit their old elementary schools where they will walk the halls and then get to talk to their old teachers. Everyone has fun. It is a great opportunity for teachers to see their old students and for kids to see their older siblings.
Today we had an instrumental petting zoo where fifth graders got to play the flute, trombone, trumpet, and clarinet. Oh, and saxophone. Thank you, Mick Kelly, Stephen Marshall, and Nick Rose. Thank you, board members, for this opportunity.
The kindergarten teachers are having an open house where the preschoolers who are coming to Colonel Wright get to see what their new classes look like. They also get to meet their new teachers. I bet the teachers are also excited to meet their new students.
On June 9th, all the fifth graders have a grad walk to celebrate us going into middle school. We get to wear a cap and gown and walk through the school. Parents will be invited to attend later that day. We will have our very first graduation ceremony. Although it is our 100th year celebrating, we will be the 95th class to walk through Colonel Wright doors. Thanks to Dr. Bernal for being our open speaker.
Thank you, board members, for this opportunity to speak in front of you this year. I have some keychains that we would like to give out for commensurations for our winning float. Thank you to my dad, Alex Swanson, for making these. Thank you again. This was very fun being a part of.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Chenoweth Elementary with Elijah Kunal and Sophie Dominguez.
We have a new speaker, but is this on? We have a new speaker, but you didn't show up tonight. Hello, my name is Elijah Kino. I am the student representative at Chenoweth Elementary. Here's the news. Some of our classes are going on field trips to places like Camp Morrow, CGCC, the zoo, and 5th grade is going to the pool. Also, we have started the walking school bus again, where we walk from Juanita's to school every Wednesday morning. Also, in other news, our PE teacher, Mr. Jenkinson, has moved PE outside because says seismic work in the gym, where we are doing pickleball and riding bikes. Chenoweth ASB is making a 5th grade yearbook where the best drawn picture gets on a cover from students. ASB raised money at big gyms and are using that to rent 2 blow-up optical courses for a last day of school. Field day will start at 8:30 a.m. with an all-staff blow-up race at Watonka Track. In academics, we all have taken the iReady Last Diagnostic Assessment to see how much we've grown in reading and math. I think we did all good on that test, I guess. This is the news this month. Hope to see you again next year. Have a great summer.
Thank you. Next, we have Dry Hollow, Noah Enzinger and Everett Gibson Odenhall.
Hi, I'm Noah Onslinger. And I'm Everett Vodenall. And we are the 5th grade representatives from Dry Hollow. Now it's time for a monthly update. May has been a very busy month. Some people say we are winding down to the end of the school year, but our parents don't really feel like it's winding down. Since the last school board meeting, our 5th grade classes had a field trip to OMSI, where we learned about fungi, tested chemistry, and visited the Lego dinosaur exhibit. Thanks to Mr. Mitchell for organizing the trip and getting the grant money to make the whole thing possible. Our 3rd to 5th grade students have completed state testing this month, and teachers and students are happy to be back to our regularly scheduled schooling. Our word of the month for May is courage. We had more than 30 students courageously participate in the Dry Hollow Talent Show. We saw rapping, gymnastics, hula hooping, dancing, and even joke-telling sock puppets. Speaking of performing, the Dry Hollow Drama Club presented The Wizard of Dry Hollow both at school and for the public in the Civic Auditorium, and they were amazing. Future Oscar winners coming out of Dry Hollow for sure. Thank you to Mr. Fierce for all your hard work with the Drama Club. The PTA knocked it out of the park celebrating our teachers for Teacher Appreciation Week. We think our teachers are the best and hope they felt that too. Mrs. Leonardson's 3rd grade class had a field trip to the Sage Center in Boardman, Oregon, where they learned about the agriculture, and industry in our own area and topped it off with a little ice cream treat before they headed home. The 1st grade classes had a field trip to the Oregon Zoo today, and we haven't heard if they left any 1st grade monkeys behind. I'm sure they didn't. We are also looking forward to the last few weeks of school filled with park days, field days, and excursions to the pool before we head home for summer vacation. Thanks for listening, and speaking of summer, why are mountains such a funny place for vacation? I honestly don't know. Why are they? Because they're hill areas.
Thank you. Next, we have the Dallas Middle School, Rosalind Elliott.
Good evening, District 21 School Board. I'm Rosalind Elliott, ASB President here at the Dallas Middle School.
And I am Rolando Dominguez, the ASB Secretary, and here's a quick report on the month of May.
This school year, we had some pretty awesome field trips. The 6th graders attended outdoor school in early May and had loads of fun at Camp Tamarack. 7th graders went on a mural walk downtown last Friday and got to learn about all the history put into the local murals. 7th grade also has a field trip to the zoo on Tuesday, June 10th. 8th graders go to Camp Moore on Monday and will spend the whole day there. An 8th grade promotion is on Tuesday, June 10th at 6 p.m.
We just had our spring carnival this Tuesday. We recorded 367 students, family members that attended. TDMS teachers ran the booths with fun games and prizes, with many community partners booths as well. We had carnival-style games with prizes, student performances, raffles, face painting, cornhole, pizza, cotton candy, and popcorn. Now here's a funny riddle. What's the king of school supplies? A ruler.
ASB elections have officially ended. Applications were due today. We've had some great applicants and can't wait for next year's ASB. Also, 8th grade ASB applications were due last Friday, and we had over 20 kids sign up for high school ASB.
Spring clubs this year are going strong till the end of the year. We have 3D printing, garden chess, mural, and homework club. Track just wrapped up with districts in Stevenson. The women's track team placed first in district and did an amazing job. And the men's team placed second, way to present the Wildcats.
Thank you for your time this year, school board members. Have an amazing 4-day weekend.
Thank you. Next, we have Innovations Academy, Loraya Lynn.
Good evening, members of the board, district leaders, staff, families, and members of our community. My name is Loraya, and I'm honored to be speaking with you tonight as a student representative. As we approach the final stretch of the school year, both high school and 8th grade students are reflecting on the year behind us and looking forward to some of the most important milestones of our academic journeys. This spring, our school held student-led parent-teacher conferences. And for many students, this was a powerful moment. Instead of having our progress talked about for us, we got to lead the conversation. We reflected on our learning, set goals, and shared where we've been, where we've grown, and what we're still working on. It wasn't always easy to talk about challenges or setbacks, but having ownership of that discussion made it more meaningful. That evening also featured our mental health resources fair, which was incredibly valuable. Mental health is something that affects all of us, especially during times of transition like preparing for high school or graduation. The fair gave students and families access to local resources, coping strategies, and supportive conversations. It helped break down stigma and reminded us that taking care of our mental health is just as important as earning grades or passing exams. One of the most inspiring events of the year was our student showcase on May 19th. This was a display and celebration of all students learning we have done this year. The school was filled with projects we've worked on for weeks or even months. Another highlight of the season was the Resilience Rally, which took place on Tuesday, May 20th at Kramer Field. This event helped build connections, have fun, and access important mental health and community resources. Students participated in the rally, which included interactive games, supportive conversations, and opportunities to learn about local services. It was a great reminder that resilience isn't something we build alone. It grows stronger when we come together as a community. And now we're heading into the most exciting time of all, graduation season. Our high school graduation will take place on May 30th. And for seniors, this moment is filled with emotion. We're preparing to walk across the stage, not just to get a diploma, but to close one chapter and begin another. There's a mix of pride, nervousness, excitement, and gratitude. Graduation symbolizes the support we've received from teachers, staff, and families, and the resilience we've built along the way. For our 8th graders, the promotion ceremony on June 10th is equally meaningful. It's more than just a send-off. It's a celebration of growth, friendships, and the journey through middle school. Promotion represents a step into high school with all possibilities and new challenges it brings. We're excited, ready, and maybe a little nervous, but we know we're prepared. And of course, we can't forget the best part of wrapping up the school year, Field Day and Staff versus Student Kickball game on June 11th. Our last day of school, this tradition brings together students from all grade levels and reminds us that while academics matter, so do joy, laughter, and connection. For our 8th graders and seniors, it's one final chance to celebrate with classmates and teachers before we move on. On behalf of the student body, thank you to the school board, our teachers, our counselors, and our community. Thank you for encouraging us, supporting our mental wellness, and helping us grow into the people we're becoming. Whether we're stepping into high school or preparing to graduate, we're leaving this year stronger, more confident, and more excited for the future. Thank you.
Hey, finally, we have the Dallas High School with Riley Elliott.
Good evening, District 21 School Board. I'm Riley Elliott, the current Executive School Board Representative and Secretary at TDHS. Tonight, I'm joined by Amber Foley, who is our Executive School Board Representative for the 25 to 26 school year.
Thank you, Riley. I'm excited to represent the Dallas High School this upcoming school year.
Speaking of new ASB members, we held elections at the end of April. All our sophomore and junior and senior class positions have been filled. We received several applicants from our incoming freshmen, but we have not yet officially filled those positions. This year, we have a full executive board, and Elliot Winwood is our school president.
AP students successfully took their AP test earlier this month and are looking forward to the rest of the school year.
Last month, we presented the ASB fee proposal, and since then, we've met with Dr. Bernal to discuss matters moving forward, and we have developed a plan of action.
Last week was Spring Spirit Week, and every day we had a fun dress-up day, followed by the masquerade ball prom, which was very well attended.
This week was our Sources of Strength Week. The Source of Strength program promotes mental health and well-being for our students. The Resilience Rally was a field day that students attended on Tuesday. There was food, games, and fun prizes to win. The Resilience Rally was put on by community members to help emphasize the importance of mental health.
Our end of the year award ceremony, where students get to nominate their peers, called Hawkspurs, is coming up.
The seniors' last day is June 4th, and graduation is the 7th. ASB will host our annual senior barbecue for the seniors to celebrate their graduation.
Moving on to sports, the girls' tennis team finished their season well at districts and Madras last week. 2 doubles teams and 2 singles made the top 16, but nobody qualified for state.
The boys tennis team also finished their season well at districts in Prineville last week. Nobody qualified for state, although they only graduated one senior, so we're looking forward to having a strong returning team next year.
Our girls' golf team, which was composed of 3 girls who are new to golf and 1 returned golfer, went to districts in Prineville and finished 5th out of 9 teams. They didn't graduate anyone and are looking forward to a state spot next year.
Our boys' golf team was also in Prineville and took 8th place out of 11 teams. We're excited to see how they do next year.
The baseball team finished league play and was able to secure a spot in the first round game coming up on May 27th, which is going to be away.
The softball team placed second in league, which qualified them for the playoffs. Their playoff game will also be on May 27th.
The JV track team finished up their season with the district track meet in Malala last week. The varsity district meet was yesterday, and they're wrapping up finals today. We're expecting several athletes to go on to compete at state this coming week. River McClure continues to break the school record in the 110 hurdles.
Thank you all for your time tonight and for allowing me to represent the Dallas High School this past school year. I am honored to be handing off this position to Amber Foley, who will do a wonderful job representing our school in the year to come.
Thank you. Next, we have staff reports from D21 Education Association rep or Northwest Education Support Professional representatives. Okay, we'll move on to school board and subcommittee reports. Scholarship Committee, Director Winelli. Community Outreach Team, Director Nelson.
There is no report. I don't have a report. They haven't met yet this month.
Wellness Committee, Director Richardson.
I do not have a wellness committee report.
Equity Committee, Director Winelli.
Yes, we're planning in the month of June to do a work session to complete our plans for a pilot program to do some cultural training for staff at the beginning of the new school year.
Wasco County Forest Collaborative, Director Nelson.
I do have a report. So, first of this month, the collaborative went on a field trip, and also they launched a brand new website. And if anybody's interested, I can send you the link for that. But it has a whole history of what we've done, maps, explanations, really a cool site. So anyway, if you're interested in that, it can help you see that. So one of the things that was on there just is kind of an explanation of our purpose for being. And so I'm going to read that to you because it really sums everything up in a nutshell. The Wasco County Forest Collaborative brings together a diverse group of partners to plan forest management and restoration projects that span public and private lands. Since 2015, the collaborative has partnered with the Forest Service to plan numerous projects on the Barlow Ranger District, building a strong project pipeline that contributes to the 2 Joint Chief Awards and designation as a wildfire crisis strategy priority landscape. These efforts have increased funding for fuels reduction and staffing on the Mount Hood National Forest. Beyond federal lands, there are partners are restoring adjacent state and private forests and supporting homeowners in creating defensible space to reduce wildfire risk. The Wasco County Forest Collaborative leverages the collective expertise and local knowledge of our partners, combined with leading scientific research to restore forest across all lands and reduce wildfire risk to our communities. The collaborative has been involved in producing original research with Oregon State University College of Forestry and the USDA Pacific Northwest Research Station. The collaborative conducts site visits to assess forest conditions and engages in multi-party monitoring to evaluate the treatment effectiveness over time, which I have visited several times. It's really kind of interesting and fun. This month, the Forest Collaborative on our field trip went around to visit sites which have been pertinent to the work that we've been doing. The first stop was a project called the Hootenanny Project. We talked about the Good Neighbor Authority, conifer encroachment and oak release, and 27 road fuel break prescriptions. So conifer encroachment, what that means is fir trees, conifers of all sorts, encroach upon the oak trees, which are more resilient to the oncoming climate and temperature increase. So what they do is they actually cut down the conifers that are encroaching on oak spaces of trees that are decades old, because oaks in their natural original beginning forms are just kind of like brush. But over time, one tree will become the dominant tree and produce the oaks that you kind of see in the landscape now that are just a single structure, not a bunch of brush. And so to take away the trees all around it gives that space to grow, and that therefore we're kind of preserving a landscape which is more resilient to the climate crisis and fire. Building on the goals of previous dry forest restoration projects, the Hootenanny Project represents the next phase of the collaborative forest restoration in Mount Hood National Forest. Developed under the Good Neighbor Authority through a third-party NEPA contract, the project is a partnership between the Oregon Department of Forestry and U.S. Forest Service. Like previous collaborative projects, Hootenanny aims to reduce tree density, improve forest health, lower the risk of insect outbreaks and high-severity wildfire by thinning overcrowded stands and prioritizing the retention of large fire-adapted trees such as legacy ponderosa pine and the Oregon white oak. Another site we visited is South Penn Insect and Disease Project. And here we talked about desired future conditions that we would like to achieve, and impacts of long-term drought and pine beetle outbreak, hazard trees, and the Larch Creek fire and fuel treatment effectiveness. The South Penn Insect Disease Project aims to reduce tree density to relieve stress on overcrowded forests and improve tree health. By thinning stands, the project will lower the risk of insect outbreaks, particularly from the beetles like western pine, mountain pine, and pine engraver. They thrive in dense drought-stressed conditions. These beetles target weakened trees. They often work together to kill both large and small trees, leading to widespread forest mortality if left unmanaged. We have an example of that actually right now with many trees dead or dying that extend from the Dalles south all the way to Juniper Flats. Over the years, fire suppression and limited forest management have allowed too many trees to grow too close together, making the forest more vulnerable to pests, disease, and intense wildfires. The project focuses on restoring a more natural and resilient forest structure by prioritizing the retention of large, healthy trees, especially legacy ponderosa pine and Oregon white oak, removing smaller, suppressed trees that compete for limited water and nutrients. This proactive approach is intended to mimic the effects of natural disturbances and foster a healthier, more fire-adapted forest ecosystem. The South Penn Insect and Disease Project will thin small trees on about 2,430 acres to improve forest health, reduce the risk of insect outbreaks and wildfire. Crews will remove overcrowded small trees, especially around the old fire-adapted species like ponderosa and Oregon white oak, like I said before. They'll use machines or hand tools and then either burn or collect the material, followed by low-intensity prescribed burns to mimic natural fire patterns and keep the forest resilient. This project is part of a larger cross-boundary strategy to restore forest health, slow tree mortality, and prevent future outbreaks of insects and disease. The project was developed in partnership with us, the Wasco County Forest Collaborative. The last stop was at Pine Hollow Reservoir Boat Ramp, and there we learned about the Wasco County Community Wildfire Defense Grant implementation. We learned about the Wasco County Community Wildfire Protection Plan and the local partnerships that focus on defensible space and community wildfire preparedness. And that completes my report. Sorry it was so long.
Right, thank you. Next we have the D21 Education Foundation, Legislative Policy Committee Director Richardson.
Thank you. My report is brief. There's a lot of uncertainty going on in the legislature right now on top of a bleak economic forecast that we just heard about this week. So I'll table the rest of my report until we have more certainty at our next board meeting.
D21 Education Foundation Director Aparicio.
Yeah, we met April 29th, and I'll just highlight a few things. The first is the spring mini grants for staff. That's all been fully awarded, and in total, they equal $7,500, and they represent 13 different projects throughout our buildings, which is very exciting for our kids to be able to enjoy that. Second, the Golden Apple Awards are upon us. Votes are due by the subcommittee by the end of this week, and then kind of final selections will be made next week, so we'll then learn of our Golden Apple Award recipients for this year. And lastly, the foundation has applied for the Ford Technical Assistance Grant, and that is to hopefully obtain money that would be used towards developing a 3-year strategic plan. So we're crossing our fingers that we get that so that the foundation can develop that plan. And then our final meeting for the year is coming up on Tuesday, so we'll have another report next month.
All right, thank you. Next we have new business, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Bernal.
Yes, thank you. I do have some updates for you. I want to share with you first, this summer, it's going to be pretty busy on the west side of town. We have several projects that are happening this summer. The first one is our Safe Routes to School. So wanted to give you an update on that. Ryan Ellinger and I met with the City Engineer and Public Works Director on May 14th to understand the project and also the timeline for it. This project is a collaboration between the school district and the city that will see safer routes, meaning sidewalks, that will be installed from Hostetler to Floral Street along West 10th Street. Additional enhancements will include 2 crosswalks, one that will cross West 10th and also the one that crosses Chenoweth Loop. And these will include flash signals, which are the kind where you can press it and then it will flash and alert oncoming traffic that there are pedestrians that want to cross. The tentative schedule for this project, there will be a pre-construction meeting on May 29th. Staging will begin on June 2nd, but the actual project won't get underway until school is out, thankfully. They're looking at pouring concrete the week of July 24th, asphalt the week of August 11th, slurry the week of August 18th, striping the week of August 25th, with a tentative completion date of August 29th, which will be before school starts, which was my request to them. Please make this done before school starts. And then we learned that there will be a potential future grant opportunity for us to collaborate on in spring of 2026 that could potentially add sidewalks from Snipes to West 7th along West 10th. So we have seismic work happening at Chenoweth Elementary School. That work has already started. We have a team in place that's meeting on a weekly basis to track project progress. Those weekly meetings happen on Wednesdays at 9 a.m., and those meetings include myself, Ryan Allinger, Principal Rendell, and the Griffin construction team leads, Matt Hamill and Aaron Weatherall. The project details include the seismic retrofit of the Chenoweth Gymnasium. It's going to address the gymnasium roof, water leak, and damage. It's going to include an office redesign and refurbishment, a new secure entry system for student arrival and dismissal and visitor access. While all of this construction is taking place this summer, the front office will be temporarily relocated with a different entry point. And that project is also on track to be completed prior to the start of the new school year. Lastly, a Hawk Nest update. The new Hawk Nest, which will be our new press box, that order has been placed and purchased and it's under construction. The cement pad has been laid and is ready for installation. The base and the installers will arrive on July 11th, and the press box will arrive on July 15th. We already have electricians and installers lined up to complete the installation with a target date of completion by the end of July. And we anticipate being able to use the Hawk Nest in time for our first football game this fall. So it's very exciting as well. Summer learning update. I want to talk a little bit about what summer learning will look like in North Wasco this summer. North Wasco was one of the eligible school districts for summer learning dollars this year. Again, we are eligible for up to $415,000. We have applied and we do anticipate receiving those monies. We will be having Jumpstart Kindergarten again this year at Colonel Wright. That will be open to any incoming kindergarten students, and that'll focus on assessing and building skills for entry into kindergarten. We will have 9 through 12 credit recovery, which will be held at the Dalles High School, which is open to any high school students seeking credit recovery. And then we'll have our K-8 summer learning program, which will be here at the Dalles Middle School. That will be focused on literacy. This is a pretty prescribed summer learning program that the governor has lined up. It is an invitation-only program. In the past, last summer, it was open to anybody. This year, it is invitation-only, as the requirements for this summer learning program is targeting literacy, and it is targeting students who are deficient in literacy. So it is invitation-only, and we've been working with the elementary schools and the middle school to identify the students for invitation based on their data assessment. The program also will require pre- and post-assessment data that we're required to demonstrate and submit as part of the summer learning application at the end of the program. We can include integration of innovative activities as long as they are tied back to improving literacy achievement. So that will be taking place. In addition, one of our large community partners is the Columbia Gorge at ESD. And they also will be offering migrant summer learning program that will be open to our K-8 students identified as migrant. That will also take place here at TDMS. And also we will be having a preschool summer learning program at Wetumpka. They're also going to be offering a native culture camp that's going to be taking place at Dry Hollow, which that program will be open to K-12 native students. And then other learning opportunities happening include STEM camps and out-of-district camps for Dufur, Sherman County, Condon, and South Wasco. That focus of those programs is on students who will not be attending regular summer school programming. And then there'll also be an opportunity for a 4-H summer migrant camp at OSU in Corvallis. As mentioned by some of our students, they talked about our resilience rally that was held on Tuesday this past week. We had over 30 community partners in attendance at the resilience rally. We had over 400 of our high school students in grades 9-12 attend from both Innovations Academy and the Dalles High School. The focus of the rally is on connecting students to caring adults and services in the community to support student mental health and wellness, especially as we head into the summer months, and is intended to build resilience in our youth. Everybody got to enjoy some really yummy burritos, some Italian sodas, and there was a lot of fun activities and prizes. I want to give a huge thank you to Jessica Catalia, our school-based clinician with Mid-Clemley Center for Living, who really leads this rally. This is our second year doing it, and it just gets better every year. And also to all of our community partners who showed up to support our youth. Lastly, just a reminder, we do have several end-of-year events coming. We hope you'll come and celebrate with us. Innovations Academy graduation ceremony is Friday, May 31st. at 5:30, and that will be held at Innovations Campus. The Dallas High School graduation will be Saturday, June 7th at 10 a.m. on Amaton Field. Colonel Wright is having a 5th grade promotion ceremony this year. That will be held on June 9th at 5:30 at Colonel Wright. The Dallas Middle School promotion ceremony is going to be held on June 10th at 6 p.m. at TDMS. Those are the ones I know right now. There might be more, but those are the ones I know now. So we hope you will come and celebrate with us. And that is my update. Any questions?
Do you have a question on also the summer literacy? I get that it's very targeted toward literacy. It's, invitation only. I guess my question is, if we reach out to a family and a student, hypothetically, should be invited, gets the invite, but for whatever reason, family commitments or whatever, they can't attend? Is it a set number we're trying to fill? I guess is what I'm trying to understand. So if we have, as an example, 40 slots, if within that 40, one or two kids can attend, we go to number 41 and 42 amongst that list and just make sure that
Correct.
we're maximizing or
Correct.
using. Okay.
Yes.
One quick question on the innovations ceremony. Is that Friday the 30th or Saturday the 31st?
It's Friday the 30th.
Okay. Says Friday the 31st.
It's Friday, yes.
Friday, awesome.
Yes. Next Friday, a week from tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Yes. Yes, I can do that next. Okay. The calendar, we are asking to approve a small change to our upcoming 25-26 calendar. We've already spoken with our union leadership about this proposed change, but in light of that, we continue to see February as a month where we experience all kinds of fun weather events. In February, we typically have a day set aside for professional learning. This past year, unfortunately, we had to cancel it due to weather. There's a day in October that's set aside as like a district-wide a statewide professional development day. We are proposing to swap those dates so that we can have professional learning actually happen in October. And then in February would be the statewide date in lieu of. So the union leadership is fine with the switch and support it. And we just ask for your approval on the swap.
I'll move to approve and adopt the 2025-2026 calendar revisions as presented.
Okay, motion by Director Nelson, seconded by Director Aparicio. All in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Next we have Chief Financial Officer report. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I begin the report, I want to thank you for your efforts on the Budget Committee. The budget was approved on the 13th of May. Good questions. This budget was probably the most challenging one that I've had the pleasure of preparing. That being said, I think we did, as I've told this board before, the goal is we're unsure of what the enrollment will be, and we're estimating enrollment. We're trying to right-size the thing so that we tried to do it without much loss of personnel. We ended up 6 positions smaller, but many of those were through attrition, so net 6. So, and as you know, we'll bring that budget to you in June for a budget hearing and adoption. But in the interim, as Dr. Richardson reported, there may be adjustments that need to be made. We're supposed to find out more, I don't know about final, but more surety about the level of federal funding here shortly, which may or may not drive some adjustments, but it's a huge burden to get over the hump. We'll get it adopted. We'll move forward. As I told the budget committee, one of the things that schools are really good at is adapting to what comes down the road. And we do it time and time again. And so, again, thank you for your effort. And no one needs an extra public meeting or two, but I appreciate you being there. And honestly, we thanked them at that time, but it's a commitment for the other 7 members of the community to go there, to come. They're not in this education business and try to grasp what's going on is a big charge. So their efforts are much appreciated too. The first thing I have is a resolution 24-25-15. It was a small holdover piece of ESSER money, which I thought was over and done with. And they said, well, you got $26,000 left, you got to spend it or you're going to lose it. So we've done that. So now we need to appropriate the $26,000. Interestingly, over the 3, I think, ESSER 1, 2, 3, this district received about $9.2 million of ESSER money to get through the COVID crisis. So I would appreciate a motion to adopt resolution 24-25-15.
Chair, I move to adopt resolution 24-25-15.
A motion by Director Vaught, second by Director Nelson. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Any abstain? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you. The regular financial statements, and you'll notice if you look through some of the parts of the expenditure report, I'm working now on, there are adjustments to be made and resolutions to be made to transfer appropriations so that we will, I was about to guarantee, but I don't want to do that, that there will not be any over expenditure of any appropriations. There's a number of small things to do. We're going through now the outstanding purchase orders and encumbrances of salaries to find out where they're really going to end up. I should also report that we've begun the audit process. They're going to come and do the field work next week, but we've uploaded many documents to them so they can start the audit work. That being said, I don't expect the report to be issued until December again. Our place in the queue is in November for them to really start auditing. And finally, the enrollment, you can see, falls off. The overall estimate for the year, I think, will be reasonably close to the 2,820 that we adjusted the estimate to. And that downturn is similar to downturns in other years. And also, May 1st, this measurement is the last official measurement. We'll produce June, and it will, I imagine it's going to keep going down. I also wanted to report, unless there are questions, I'll stop. Our contractual service providers, facilities entry service, you'll recall a year ago, Sodexo stepped up with $500,000 of capital improvements to the district, largely for the fire alarm system at Chenoweth, and they still have a few dollars left to invest. In fact, they're going to buy part of the radios that we just deployed. So in any event, The exchange for that was a 5-year extension to their contract. And as part of this difficult budget season, they've also agreed to forego their contractual cost of living increase for the next year, which I appreciate. And food service is, we awarded that contract, and I'll bring the resolution for that extension to the next meeting, but food service contracts are following a competitive bidding process. They're a 1-year contract with 4 allowable extensions. So it's a 5-year contract. And there's a bunch of paperwork to send in because it has to be, the extension has to be approved by ODE. And our contact at ODE was out of the office until yesterday. So it's been approved. We'll move forward with it, and I'll bring the resolution to the board at the next meeting. And I think that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Great, thank you. Next, we have Board Attorney's report. Mr. Corey?
The only thing I have for you tonight is it's time to renew the annual lease that we have with folks up in Columbia View Heights. And so I brought that tonight. They've already signed off on it. I just need your signature. That's all I've got.
Okay. Next, we have science adoption materials. Turn it over to Shannon.
We're on cycle to adopt the science instructional materials. Much like what we did with the process for last year, we elicited teacher leaders to participate in the process with us all year long, and we started back in October. Do you have my presentation to display?
I don't. You want to show your screen?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, she can show your screen for us if you would. That'd be great. Oh, I do have this. I'm sorry.
Can you see this okay?
Yep.
Okay. So we will start with elementary. The recommendation from the committee is that we adopt mystery science, which is what our current adoption is. And we are, with this adoption, what we are doing is integrating science more intentionally into language arts by identifying specific units that teachers will use at each grade level. And so with mystery science, it allows us to encourage students and teachers to stay curious. Lessons begin with a question that promotes curiosity. It's available in Spanish. It's a digital-based curriculum, so we're just really going to be, I'm just recommending that we purchase the license. Within the digital-based curriculum, there are videos, photographs, step-by-step instructions, lots of hands-on activities, and easy lesson preparation and classroom management tools built in for teachers. So what the elementary team did was integrate the mystery science units with language arts. And so we've aligned that with Wit and Wisdom and Caminos and CKLA, which are the, Wit and Wisdom is the English language arts, and Caminos and CKLA are used in DLI classrooms. So topics that are covered will, kindergarten will animal needs, first grade, sun and shadows throughout the seasons. Second grade, how water shapes the Earth's surface. Third grade, pushes and pulls, gravity and forces. Fourth grade, anatomy of the human eye. and 5th grade solar systems and galaxies. The recommended science materials in 6-8 are lab aids, and there are different units at each grade level based on alignment to the standards. Lab aids was from the list of high quality instructional materials that was vetted by the state of Oregon. And so we were able to identify one of those. We were able to identify lab aids as something that would work and aligned well to what our needs were in North Wasco. For high school, the recommendation is Patterns High School Science for All, which is also our current core instructional material in grades 9 through 12, and also an independent adoption. And so you should have in your board packets the actual copies of the independent adoption evaluation tool. And then what we are recommending is that we adopt and that we will use McGraw-Hill Science for our electives classes. The cost is always a big question mark. And our last meeting was a week ago. And so I'm sorry that these costs are not in this presentation fully, but it's taken a little bit of back and forth with some of our reps to kind of hone in on approximate costs. And the cost of mystery science for 3 years is about $15,000. That pays for the 3-year subscription. And then we are going to embed professional development for the integration of science and language arts into our early release time on Wednesdays throughout the school year. And we will use roughly $5,000 in consumable material costs each year. The ongoing costs for this are future 3-year purchases when we need additional consumable materials, and as DLI expands. So next year there's 5th grade at Chenoweth and more and another kindergarten classroom. We will have to we'll have more costs for that too. One thing to note is that we are the adoption will be for the life of the adoption. So what I'm asking your approval for tonight is the full 7-year adoption, but we are purchasing the materials in smaller increments than the whole 7 years, just because it's incredibly expensive to purchase all of it all at once. So the overview of the costs for lab aids are a little more, a lot more actually. It's about, we're looking around $100,000. And this is where it gets a little messy with the life of the adoption and what we're purchasing. So the majority of that $100,000 is the cost of the equipment sets for teachers to have materials in their classrooms, and also hardbound student books. That is a one-time cost because we'll use the same materials. They're reusable. They're durable materials. They're not consumables. Beyond this year, each year of our adoption, we'll have roughly about $11,000 cost because of the digital access for the portal that students and teachers will be able to access. So the cost of patterns, the materials are actually free, but the cost that we will have related to patterns is the professional development. This is the last year that training for Oregon teachers will be free. The cost that we will have to have is sending our teachers to the 5-day training over the summer. And a lot of our teachers have already been to those trainings, but it's recommended that they go again. I don't think it's realistic that all of our high school science teachers will be able to attend a 5-day training this summer, but we are hoping that over time, teachers will continue to participate in that training as a review and refresh and refining their practices and going deeper with the materials. We will also have costs for McGraw-Hill for the electives, but we're looking, there's still a lot of back and forth with our rep from McGraw-Hill, but I'm anticipating that it is less than $20,000. We had hoped that we could get all of the durable materials all at once, but because there is a plan at TDHS and Innovations Academy to offer alternative elective classes, we'll have to purchase additional materials for the electives next year so that we're not purchasing all of them all up front with the mindset that we'll offer others in subsequent years. But what we're going to do is just purchase the electives materials that we know are on the schedule for next year. Any questions about that recommendation for approval of science materials?
Shannon, on the mystery science purchase for elementary schools, that $15,000, is that per elementary or is that the total district cost?
That's the total district cost for 3 years. So the way they've provided a quote is in 3-year increments. And that is how we've been purchasing it in the past, with the exception of a 1-year renewal this past year.
Okay, and the same for that $5,000 a year ongoing cost, that's the district cost as well?
Yes. For the consumable materials?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And sticking on,
and
on the 3-year renewal, so obviously that doesn't fit our 7-year kind of renewal. So will we have to pay for 9 years and then only use it for 7, or will we only pay for 7 years?
Well, we actually, last year, the board approved delaying the science adoption, so we're doing it for this year. So we're actually, it's a 7-year adoption cycle, but we're actually a year behind. So in theory, those 6 years, we'll just do 2 3-year cycles. But what we did for this past year was that they would give us a 1-year renewal rate. Okay. But I don't anticipating it being necessary, because with the delays that we've had, but also the intent of getting back on cycle, we should be back on track with the state adoption calendar.
I have a question for Randy. So on the budget for this coming school year, is this estimate built in?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Well, Shannon, you correct me if we took a 1-year thing on the last language arts adoption, so we got to do that again. But we have budgeted to set aside in the textbook replacement fund to do both of those.
Okay. That makes me feel a little better. I thought this was going to be on top of what we just approved. Okay.
No. Nope. So then if there aren't any more questions regarding that, the other thing that I just wanted to update you on is the Innovations Virtual online curriculum. In the spring of 2022, I was not in this role, but looking back at board agendas and minutes, I found that the Innovations Virtual Online Curriculum was approved in April of 2022. The current contract that we have with Edmentum is expiring in June of 2025. But what we are planning to do for Innovations Virtual Academy is do an independent adoption in the 25-26 school year and pilot some new materials. The reason that we have to do an independent adoption is because Innovations Virtual Academy and all other online schools across the state and country use one curriculum for all of the content areas. And beginning with language arts, ODE included online curriculums in their vetting process of high quality instructional materials. So if these curriculums that we're looking at are on that approved list for language arts, we do not need to do an independent adoption for language arts. The same for math, the same for science. In the 25-26 school year, they will also do a social sciences vetting for high quality instructional materials. But all of the other content areas like world languages, health, PE, etc., have not been vetted for these online curriculums yet. This is still a fallout from COVID. And so for the content areas that the state has not already vetted these materials, we will have to do an independent adoption if they're not on the high quality instructional materials list. So this slide here is really more just for your information of where we're going with it, because this time next year, we will come to the school board with a recommendation for Innovations Virtual Academy curriculum. But just wanted to let you know about that ahead of time.
So from a cost standpoint, I'm just trying to kind of total it as you were kind of explaining just the purchases and then annual cost for consumables. So on the elementary side, we've got 2 3-year purchases at $15K, so $30K, plus 6 years at $5,000 each for the consumables, so a total of $60,000 for elementary. Is that sound correct?
What you're saying makes sense to me. I haven't totaled it all up for the life of the adoption.
Okay. And then, so I'm just trying to wrap just what this means, big picture. So 6 through 8, then we've got $100K right out of the gate for the initial purchase plus 11 per year. So if I total that up, that's 166, all right? And then where I got lost was the high school. So you mentioned some free components to that on the materials side, I think, and even PD, and then we've got 20K roughly for annual costs. So is that really all we're seeing, 20 per year? So again, for 6 years, that'd be the 120?
That's what, yes. And the other cost for the high school is the professional development for teachers. And this is the last year that professional development for patterns will be offered for free for Oregon teachers. So there's certainly a push to get as many teachers participating in that training this summer, because potentially the cost would increase. But also teachers are not necessarily going to attend all of that training every single summer. So, I think $15,000 is a pretty generous estimate for the adoption.
And for that training, is that just kind of a one-time PD thing, or is that an annual thing that our staff would have to do?
Yeah, that would be, I think most would do it as a one-time thing. And then Patterns offers lots of opportunities throughout the year with webinars and whatnot that are free. Are there any other questions?
No more questions, we'll entertain a motion.
Chair, I'll move to approve the science adoption materials for K-12 to include an independent adoption of mystery science for K-5, lab aids for 6th through 8th, and the independent adoption of Patterns High School science for all core and McGraw-Hill electives.
Motion by Director Richardson, seconded by Director Bach. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Any abstain? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you all so much.
Okay, first reading on school board policies, IIA and IKFB. You got it, if there's any questions on those?
I did, so I just wanted one clarification. So on IKFB, so this is presented as a new policy, but it's actually an existing policy, and so I just wanted to make sure that we got the copy where it shows the additive language coupled with the deletions, and then because there's some, as I read kind of the original language, there's some what I feel are relevant things in terms of this language. It just differs in terms of like who plans it, and then also who selects the date. So in our language, the planning is done by the principal or a designee, and then the date is actually selected by the board, which somewhat makes sense because that ties to the overall school year calendar. So it'd be nice, I guess, to see that cleaned up for the next reading, to see the changes. And then what I see the changes, or some of the additive language, relates to students' ability to dress for those joining the armed forces, as well as for our Native American students, cultural significance. I guess it makes sense if that is legislatively required. My bigger question is, we've got a fun tradition where we see our students express themselves at graduation, which is one of the cool things. We've got a very lively Polynesian community, a Latino community, and I just want to make sure, like, this is starting to get fairly prescriptive in terms of, what students potentially are allowed to do, and I just want to make sure that that kind of tradition and culture that we have of just student expression at graduation doesn't really change. And I'm worried that if there's not language, we could potentially start narrowing that down, if that makes sense. So I just want to avoid that, I guess, at the end of the day.
That's not the intention of the policy at all. So I think if you read the last line, which says graduating students will be allowed to wear Native American items of cultural significance or other items of cultural significance, that is that dissemination to representing their other cultures that we have in our community.
Okay.
So the intent is not to take
Not
away.
narrow it, okay.
No.
That's what I want to make sure.
Dr. Bernal, on policy IIA, seems to be a fairly lengthy addition of language and not a lot that's stricken out or changed. What is the driver behind that coming from ODE?
No, only this was just, the policy was worked on collaboratively with a group comprised of school district, ESD staff, professionals from the State Library of Oregon, Intellectual Freedom Committee, and they're recommending that we revise our instructional materials policy. And there are happening ARs that will come in June, but those are I've reviewed all of them and made my recommendations, and they're being reviewed by the teaching and learning department right now, prior to bringing them in June. I think, but to more clarify your question, it is defining more clearly what constitutes core materials, supplemental, library, classroom, who those are chosen by, etc.
Anyone else? We have no